It's that time of year again, guys, and the Champions League is back. It's the second year running with basically this new format, and I don't know what to tell you guys. I personally quite enjoy it. I am a avid football fan that loves to watch, every single game, or at least try to do so. I watch football not only live, but when I'm, eating lunch, when I'm about to go to sleep, when I wake up in the morning. I genuinely watch football and the replays quite a lot. But today what I thought we were going to do is I want to go over every single match of Barcelona and Real Madrid. We might have time to discuss other clubs, but let's stick to those two for just right now. And let's break them in chronological order, because now we know the order that they're going to be played. Last time we talked on the channel about the Champions League, we just knew the name, the faces that we're going to be, fighting for. But we did not know the order that we're going to be facing, and that changes quite a lot. As we saw from last season, that really dictates the game. So let's break it down in today's video, and let's get started. What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? BugaLuis here. Welcome back to another video here on the channel. And yes, indeed, the Champions League is back. And let's start previewing these games, because I do not want to take too long. One aim I have is to make this video shorter for you guys. So yeah, let's get right into it. So the first game that Barcelona are going to be facing, of course, is Newcastle United this upcoming Thursday. So Barcelona versus Newcastle. I think that out of this game, this is a very hard opener. It's a very hard opener because Barcelona are with injuries. We do not know at the moment of recording this video whether Lamine Yamal is going to be playing. Frank de Jong, we do not know that either. But they just recently come out of a victory 6-0 against Valencia, and that puts us in a good mood and, confident against Newcastle United. I think that the St. James Park is going to be rocking on Thursday. I think they're going to be wanting to, of course, beat Barcelona after the summer that they had with Isak not knowing whether he was going to stay at Newcastle or move to Liverpool. At the end, he ended up going to Anfield, and that leaves always a sour taste in their mouth. But they have this opportunity here with new players, with Visa, with Nick Voltemade, particularly, who scored a very good header in his debut in the Premier League this past weekend, to come here and try to beat Barcelona, make a statement win. It's going to be a debut for him as well, for the German striker, so I know that he's going to be up for it. And Barcelona here are coming, like I said, with some few players not doing at the best. I think the international break did improve a little bit the associative play of Barcelona, the rhythm that we needed to sort of get going. I think Flick, with a little bit of time, has gotten that more nailed down, and I think that the center back partnership of Eric Garcia and Cubarsí was quite good in this game. People are pointing out that maybe it is because Valencia didn't pressure, Barcelona as much, but in reality, I do think that Eric Garcia is calm, it's collected, and let's see how he does against a team like Newcastle United. Let's also see what Flick decides to go with, because he could easily go with someone like Araujo, who's a man made for occasions like this, a big striker. Let's be honest, Araujo versus Voltemade makes much more sense than Voltemade versus someone like Eric Garcia. So let's wait and see. Lamine Yamal, if he's in the squad or not, I think that always with Lamine Yamal, we're going to be favorites. If Lamine Yamal is not there, I'm a little bit, nervous as to what we could do. I actually do think this could be a game for Marcus Rashford, because Barcelona might not have as much of the ball as we normally do, and whenever we break through the lines, I think Rashford could be a very good player to run into the space. I always say this, but he struggles at Barcelona because we don't play with that much of space with us. We don't have the luxury to enjoy that much space. But Rashford, in a game like Newcastle against big teams, I think he could be a deadly player, be it from the start or be it from the bench. So Barcelona versus Newcastle, I think this could be a draw. I think this could be a draw. I really do think that 1 point for each. If I'm Barca, I don't want to say I want to take that, but I don't know, man. Lamine Yamal, I think if Lamine is in the game, he does have it in him to be just, that player that can create magic out of nowhere. And I'm also interested to see what Flick's going to be doing with either Ferran Torres or Lewandowski. Is he saving Lewandowski? Did he play the other day for a game like this, in the Champions League? Maybe that's the case. Maybe he's trying to do something where Ferran plays La Liga and La Copa del Rey, and then Lewandowski, it's ready to play the Champions League. That could be the case. The more I think about it, I think Barcelona could we really surprise Newcastle at their own stadium? It would be a massive win, to be honest. It will be a very, very, very big win for us. Let's go with a draw. Let's go with a draw here. I want to start off, calm. Let's go calm. The next game for Barcelona then would be Barcelona versus PSG. And here PSG are without Dembele and without Desiree Doué. It's Doué. So I think that here Barcelona should really try to win this game. This should be sort of the game like Bayern Munich, Of course, it's the biggest opponents that we have, and it should be the game that we try and win 100% to make a statement for Europe. Make a statement for the rest of the world, saying, "Hey, Barcelona is here," and I think that Barcelona can. Lamine Yamal is gonna be back. He's gonna be fit, back playing for this one. This is on the 1st of October, so after yet another international break. So, FU international breaks, really. But that's going to be after another international break. So I think that, is it going to be really after another international break, or am I just crazy? I'm not sure. I think that might be the next one. Anyhow, Barcelona PSG, this is actually not going to be after international break. I just realized. I just remembered. So no, forget what I just said. Barcelona versus PSG. I think Barcelona can win this. I think this should be one of the games where Rafinha, stands up, gets the mantle of continue being that guy for Barcelona, stepping up in the big moments. I think Barcelona could do it, particularly because also PSG are a team that we know that they struggle against a team that also holds the ball. Against Chelsea in the Club World Cup final, we've seen it already. Against even Tottenham in the Super Cup, teams that dispute the ball for PSG and press them very, very high, they struggle. And I think that Barcelona is the best team in the world at doing that at the moment. So we saw against Valencia, and I know it's just Valencia, but even with our substitutes, even with players not at 100% like Rashford adapted or Rooney, I think that we were bang on with our pressure. So I think that Barcelona can do that to PSG, and I think we can win this. And I think Barcelona can really step, put a step down, send a message to Europe. Even if Dembele and Doué are not there, I think that's an advantage for Barcelona. Let's hope we get the 3 points there. So I'm going 3 points against PSG. Next game, this one is the one after international break, Barcelona versus Olympiacos. So Barcelona versus Olympiacos, I think Barcelona need to go ahead and get the 3 points here, coming fresh out of an international break. Very similar circumstances like this one, where you come off after an international break, and then you have a game in La Liga, and then you have the Champions League. I think Barcelona can do this at home. Barça versus Olympiacos, 3 points there. Then the 5th of November, we got Club Brugge versus Barça. Club Brugge, interesting team, but certainly one of the weakest from Pot 2. And Barcelona should be looking to get 3 points as well in this one. This could be one of those games like Benfica from last season. I do think that this could be one of those games where we are not expecting Club Brugge to play as well. And maybe it hits us in a moment where, I don't know when El Clásico is, for instance. But if El Clásico, it's about that time, or we have Copa del Rey, or we have a Atletico Madrid game, or a game like Villarreal, a difficult game, it can hit us with a little bit just too much pressure. And I think that that's where maybe we can have a game like that against Benfica, where it just ended 5-4. And I think that Barcelona should be good enough overall to win it, but it's going to be close. So 3 points up next from Barcelona versus Bruges. Next up, we have, for me, the most difficult game of Barcelona's Champions League campaign so far in the league. That is Chelsea. I think the game against Stamford Bridge on the 25th of November is going to be massive. It's going to be huge, I think, for Barcelona. To be honest, Chelsea are a strong team at home. And the last time that we went there, we drew or we won. I think we won barely, with Messi scoring and Dembele scoring, if I'm not mistaken correctly. I do remember us barely beating Chelsea. I think Chelsea are going to be up for it. I think they're a very difficult team. I think this year they do have the magic in them. They have players like Estevao, like Cole Palmer. I mean, they're not better from what we have, but there are players that can turn up, and there are players that in a moment they can make the game all about themselves. Cole Palmer, for me, is the one certainly to look out for. And if he regains his form, we know how clutch he can be for big moments. He's so calm, so relaxed, that you just know in his head he's waiting for moments like this. It's that sort of, I think, eagerness to play that he doesn't really quite displace, but when he's on the field he does, that makes him such a dangerous player. So I think that Barcelona are going to be very lucky to come out of here with a win. and not lucky, but it's gonna be a hard game. This is when Barcelona needs to be playing at 100%. To be able to go to Stamford Bridge and get the 3 points, they need to be playing very, very well. So Barca versus Chelsea, I'm gonna go with like a 2-2 draw. That's what I'm thinking. But Barcelona could get the win. Barcelona versus Frankfurt, I think it's gonna be a win for the Barcelona. This Frankfurt is not the same as last season. I really don't have to go too much ahead and talk about it. I mean, I don't see the players. They recently just got demolished, I think, by Bayern Munich, if I'm not wrong. Actually, let me take a look at it because I think I'm ever confusing myself. Frankfurt, let's take a look at it because I really do think that they got demolished recently. It wasn't Bayern Munich. They lost to Bayer Leverkusen, so close enough. Next up, we have away from home Prague versus Barcelona, which I think Barcelona should be able to get the win. It's a difficult away ground, but it's one of those games that you just simply have to win if you want to end in the top 8. And then Barcelona versus Copenhagen, I think that this is good for Barcelona as well. And the reason why I like this is because we have strong matches at the start. I think Newcastle, PSG, good matches at the start, albeit our injuries are not, favoring us. But then we have Chelsea in the middle, and then we finish with quote-unquote easy matches. So Barcelona, even if they screw up, they have the opportunity against easier opposition on paper to make the ground up. And that's what I like from this league fixture from Barcelona. I think Barcelona got very lucky with this fixture list and also the actual teams that we're going to be facing. So now let's take a look at Real Madrid, because I think that Barcelona has all in them to finish top 8. Does Real Madrid have it in them? Let's take a look. So Real Madrid start off their Champions League campaign with Olympique de Marseille. That's going to be at home at the Bernabeu for them. That's going to be an interesting game. I'm waiting to see how much Marseille has improved. But I think this game tells us way more about Marseille than actually Real Madrid, because Real Madrid should be able to win this one. Next up, we have Karaït Almaty, the new team from Uzbekistan, making their debut in the Champions League competitions. And they're away from home. I think this one, actually, Real Madrid might draw. The reason why I'm saying this is that Real Madrid always, away from home, they always struggle against a smaller team. I remember what was this team, dude? I knew there was a Peruvian playing there. It was a team from Moldova, I think it was, that they won at the Bernabeu or they draw away from home. And then they draw against Schalke. They lost against Schalke another time. Like, they always struggle against these small teams away from home. And, in the corners of Asia/Europe, they always struggle with teams over there. And I think they could do that here in Uzbekistan against Karaït Almaty. So I actually think that out of the first 2 matches, Real Madrid will get max 4 points. Next up, we got Juventus, and that's going to be at home. Juventus, away from home in the Champions League, they've not been very good recently. But if this Juventus side can get clicking, and we've seen the resilience recently in the Italian derby between Juventus and Inter, I think they could potentially give Real Madrid some sort of headache. I'm thinking a draw here between Juventus and Real Madrid. I think that if last season they lost against Milan, they very much could endure a draw here against Juventus. Next up, they play away from home at Liverpool, so at Anfield, and that's going to be a massive game. And last time they went there, last year, they didn't have a good time. I think that Liverpool, I don't know, man. I think actually Real Madrid could draw this one as well. I think that they can draw this one as well, maybe even win it, because Liverpool, this is going to be a hot take, but I don't think Liverpool are as good as last season. I think Liverpool are simply not there enough. The only thing that could change this is that this game is still in November. So there's time for Liverpool to click, for Wirtz to find his form, for Mo Salah to return from vacations, dude, because this guy, I don't know where he is. Salah is not playing good at the moment whatsoever. And yeah, I really do not think. I think that Real Madrid are going to struggle more to the smaller sides than with the bigger sides. I think that against Liverpool, they could actually even get the win, because right now, what I'm seeing from Liverpool, I really don't like it. Away from home against Olympiacos, this time for Real Madrid. Away from home in Athens is going to be interesting. Athens, dude, it's always a difficult place to go to against Olympiacos. I think they could also draw this one. I think they could draw this one at home against Manchester City, which is next. I think they beat Manchester City. And at home against Monaco, I think they they beat Monaco as well. I think Manchester City and Monaco, those next two games for Real Madrid, I think they beat them, bang bang. They get them out of the way. I think they win those two. Manchester City, the only thing that I'm kind of holding on to is that this City team could be different by that time. You know, I think that Pep Guardiola could make some changes. We saw them recently beat Manchester United in the Manchester Derby, and they looked a little bit better with Kushanoff at the right back position. I think his pace is really good and could be of ease or help against someone like Vinicius Jr., but they need to mature. I think that this Manchester City is still very, very green. It's not ripe. They need to be mature. They need to be better. I think that Manchester City by that time could sort of maybe give Real Madrid some sort of headache, but I do expect Madrid to beat Manchester City. I think Xabi Alonso is doing a good job with Real Madrid so far, and players of Mbappe's quality will always show up for a match like this. So I'm expecting Real Madrid to win this one, as much as it pains me to say. And Monaco as well, even though maybe by that time Ansu Fati is on golden boy form as well, and maybe he gets a goal or two against Real Madrid. It could be one of the stories of the century if he actually manages to do that with Paul Pogba feeding him balls. Imagine that Paul Pogba Ansu Fati connection. That's gonna be crazy. But then finally, the last game that they have is Benfica away from home, and I think they could struggle here. Real Madrid away from home against Benfica. I really do. I think Benfica is a tough place to go to. So if we make the math here, and let's say I think that they lose against Benfica, because I think they lose a game. I think they do. I think that maybe it could be one of those where maybe they're in the top 8 and they lose this game and maybe they fall out of it. Maybe it could be that instance. I'm expecting here one draw against Karaet Almaty. Let's just go back. Win against Marseille, draw against Karaet Almaty, draw against Juventus, win against Liverpool, draw against Olympiacos, win against Manchester City, win against Monaco, and loss against Benfica. That's 3, 4, 5 points out of the first 3 matches, then 6 points by Olympiacos, then 9 by Manchester City, then 12 by Monaco. They finished with 12 points. And last season, you need at least like 15 points to make top 8. So maybe Real Madrid do not make it. I think it's all going to come down to that Benfica game. And actually, I did not make the math for the Barcelona game. So I kind of want to check it out quickly right now. Let's make the math. Barcelona against Newcastle. I expect 1 point there. 3 points against PSG. That's 4. Then another win. That's 7 against Olympiacos. Then another close win. 10 against Club Brugge. I think a draw 11 against Chelsea. 14 points against Frankfurt. Then 17 against Slavia Praga, and then 20 against Copenhagen. The max points that we saw last season was 19 by Liverpool. So expect a draw from Barcelona there, and I think it could come maybe to Slavia Praga, maybe to Club Brugge. One of those 2 away games could give the draw to Barcelona. So I'm expecting, guys, at the end of the day, I'm expecting Barcelona to finish this Champions League phase season with 19 points or 20 points, and Real Madrid to finish with 12 points. That's my prediction. Book it in the comment box down below. Let me know what you think and make of these fixtures in order, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Ciao, ciao.